We plummeted his potential by not even using him in the AHL until this season.
Mm-hmm.
That was the painful part, is because almost all of last year he was sitting on the taxi squad getting no playing time. While the taxi squad was good for the time and should have still been used a little bit this year, we knew the kind of players that were on there, the Taylor Fadoon types, the Juuso Riikola types, where either the team doesn't like him or there's no more growth and potential. He's just a borderline player.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say Riikola, we kind of dumbfounded and made both of those. So
Yeah.
it hurts for him, but you know what? Man, I called it. I said he's going to Europe. Well, I think you may have said it first, a long time ago.
Either way, that's what ended up happening. And it's weird because it seemed like the Pittsburgh Penguins, when thinking about Juuso Riikola, basically saw him as a guy that couldn't make the jump because they never gave him the time to really acclimate himself to the NHL game. He basically would be, all right, he's great. He has nothing more to do in the AHL. He's a fantastic AHL defenseman, but they never thought he could make that jump. And they even stalled him out, I think, in his progression by playing him at forward for a handful of games.
Yeah.
It was a really weird thing where when I watched Juuso Riikola play, I was like, okay, he can move the puck very well. He has a great shot. It seemed like he was hesitant to use it, but he did have a good shot. He was a physical defenseman that took pucks off of sticks whenever he tried to lay the body, but they just never used him. And then the times that they would just say, hey, instead of doing, which is a strategy used a lot in the NHL, instead of saying, hey, we're going to do 11 forward, 7 defensemen, they said, you know what? No, we're just going to force a defenseman to be our 12th forward. And it didn't make sense ever. And it's never going to make sense to me when I look back on it. But I do hope Riikola can find a little bit of success in Sweden. And I do wish him all the best. Honestly, I think this is 2 years past when I expected it to happen.
I totally forgot we played him at forward. When was that? Was last year, right?
That was parts of 2 seasons. Because last year he only played 2 games, remember? It was 2 seasons ago where he played, I believe, 3 or 4 games at forward.
Brilliant. You know what? Maybe that's why Mike Sullivan keeps getting snubbed for Jack Adams, because people don't forget that you played a defenseman in the forward position. This isn't Brent Burns we're talking about, and that's also the other way. Forwards can turn into defensemen way easier than defensemen can turn into forwards, I think, or at least that's what we've seen so far.
We've seen it, but I mean, that's a much larger discussion about the minutia of each different position and how you play it.
Yeah. That being said, you know what? He got a decent deal though. He got paid a pretty good amount of money to coast around the AHL last season to sit in a press box and practice with 4 other guys most of the season. I mean, you know, you feel for the guy because obviously he wanted his chances in the NHL, but just things couldn't turn around for him.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, whether it be his own skill, whether it be Mike Sullivan's coaching antics, or even Jim Rutherford, Deron Hextall's antics, sucks. But you know what? I mean, it is what it is sometimes.
It is. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, Riikola played in 80 games for the Pittsburgh Penguins over 4 seasons. He scored 3 goals and 13 points. But again, I feel like there was so much untapped potential. And the last thing that I'll say on it is there is a technically a salary cap implication of Riikola leaving, because this entire season, we already mentioned he only played in 5 games, but the entire season when he wasn't with the NHL roster, there was a $25,000 buried penalty on the Penguins salary cap. So it frees up $25K that they didn't have this year. Not that that really makes much of a difference, but I guess in a salary cap league, every penny counts.